All right. Now that the Sixers' millionth disappointment has come and gone, now that we've had a weekend to digest the ending to the Sixers season, ask one simple question. What's next? What's next for our Philadelphia 76ers? Phillies win again, another 5-game winning streak, the best team in baseball. Is it sustainable? Are they really the best team in baseball? We'll discuss an Eagles rookie minicamp. Not much news came out of it, but leadership came out of it. Train the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports live with your thoughts and opinions on all these topics and anything you want to talk about. Live in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Hit those like, share, subscribe, follow, retweet buttons wherever you are watching. Hit all those buttons and get interactive with the show. This is the number one morning show, the first daily YouTube show in the Philadelphia market. And it thrives on you people, on your opinions, on what you want to talk about. And there's lots to talk about in the world of Philadelphia sports after this weekend. The Eagles rookie minicamp pretty much came and went with not much, fanfare, not much information coming out of it. So we'll talk a little bit of football today. Phillies, red hot, another 5-game winning streak in the books with a chance to get to 6 this afternoon against the Giants. And I ask, are the Phillies really the best team in baseball? Maybe even better than they look. And finally, the Sixers. We've had a full weekend to digest the season ending. The frustration of our Sixers is over to an extent. We can look maybe 3-4 days later a little bit more objectively at the Sixers season, but also what's next for the Sixers season. And I believe there's a lot of options. There's a lot of scenarios. There's a lot of ways Daryl Morey might look at this, but I don't know if the right way is the right way. And I know that sounds really weird. Like what he thinks is the right way, what everybody thinks is the right way to fix this team to get us over the hump. Don't know if it is actually the right way. So we're going to talk all about that kind of stuff. We're going to start with Sixers for sure today. Make sure you guys shoot me a follow. I'm Phil Stiefel, your host every single morning here at Beard of Knowledge. That's where you can find me on pretty much every social media platform. Mitchie Pooh first comment of the day. The only reason that Morey wants Jimmy Butler on the Sixers is to feel his ego and to become the hero in Philly. Jimmy Butler is, of course, one of the popular names, one of the star names that are out there. That Sixers, we've heard a lot of names already, and we're only 3 days into the unofficial offseason for this Sixers team. And Jimmy Butler's name is being thrown around, just like Mitch here, a lot. And I can't necessarily say I think it's the right move or not. I really am not sure about that. I really find a scenario in my mind where Jimmy Butler is not the right call for this team. And you guys all know, those who have been watching this show for a long time know, I am not going to hide that I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan. Love the guy. One of my favorite basketball players there is out there, not on the Sixers right now. We've talked about it on this show before, how I get criticized for still wearing my Jimmy Butler jersey, my Sixers Butler jersey, out in public. But this is where I want to get at. Let me read a list of names to you guys, okay? LeBron James, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dame Lillard, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Zion Williamson, Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid. What do all those names have in common? They're all huge stars. They're all max contract type guys. And none of them are playing in the playoffs right now. They've all either missed the playoffs or been eliminated from the playoffs. And that is just a very short list of, 11 or 12 names. I'm sure there's a lot more that I can add to this list. I could add Zach LaVine to this list. I can add DeMar DeRozan, 2 more max guys. Trae Young, Deontay Murray. Here's 20, 30 elite superstar guys. None of them. And a lot of them, LeBron has AD. George, Kawhi, Harden together. Dame, Giannis together. Booker, Beal, KD together. Building these super teams. Is that the right way to go? And why I'm asking this is because for all the people that just want the Sixers to go out and make a slam dunk signing and get, Paul George or trade for Jimmy Butler. Of course, I got that idiot million-plus followers site, NBA site that suggested trading Joel Embiid for Kevin Durant, which is insanity. But there's this talk of superstars and trade because you've got to have a third superstar. But all the superstar pair-ups did not advance past the first round in the playoffs. Some of the teams that have advanced in the playoffs, OKC, young core group. Minnesota, 2 homegrown talents and a really in Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, and then a good team around them. The Nuggets, Jokic, with 2 really, really strong B-plus players in Gordon and, 3, Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray around Jokic. Yeah, Boston's got their big 3. Cleveland doesn't have a big 3. Indiana doesn't have a big 3. So the point I am making and the question I want to propose, all these big 3s, big team-ups that happen, it doesn't always work out. So the question I want to ask is there a scenario in your head where keeping draft pick number 16 that we have in this NBA draft and trying to find a way to get another young piece to develop with Maxey, because that's another topic that we got to get into. Another piece to add to the puzzle, big picture. Or using that 16 for a little bit less. Someone like Lauri Markkanen, only making $18 million a year. He's a bigger star than $18 million, and he'll need to get a pay raise. I get it. Maybe Daryl Morey needs to think outside of the box rather than being starstruck and star hunting. This is a theory that I've spent a lot of time this weekend. I think the Butler ship has passed, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not just because of the fact that I think the Butler ship is, I think he's past his prime, oft injured. How many games are him and Joel going to miss together? I think the Butler thing, and it's hard for me to admit now because I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan, like massive. So it pains me to say that, but I think you're right, and I think I'm right on that too. I feel he was a big mistake to move on from. Well, yeah, of course, it was a big mistake. And again, for the 14 millionth time, I'll say on the show, we didn't choose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler wanted the Sixers organization to choose him or Ben Simmons and Brett Brown. They chose Ben Simmons and Brett Brown. Jimmy Butler left. It is what it is. But I'm still, it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to think. Be like the Philadelphia. What's one thing that doesn't get talked enough about it with our Philadelphia Eagles is how Howie Roseman's not just thinking now, he's thinking of the future, but he's trying to find the trends in the NBA. He's trying to find a way to, or the NFL, he's trying to beat the NFL to the new trends. Maybe the new trends isn't finding 3 superstar players, overpaying them, not having a well-rounded team. Maybe that's not the way to go anymore. Maybe the way to go is have 1 or 2 stars or have a 1A and a 1B, build a well-depth team around them with shooters, with athletes, with different things. Maybe that's the way to go. Indiana has a low-key big 3, Halliburton, Siakam, and Turner. Yeah, but that's more like if I wanted to compare it to the big 3 in Denver. You got your big star, and you got 2 good B-plus players around him. Siakam's a B-plus player. Turner, a really solid center, but he's not a superstar or anything like that. And Halliburton's still in that Tyrese Maxey young developmental prospect to an extent. Just like Maxey, I don't even think Halliburton has met his or reached his ceiling yet. We need a great supporting cast, no age superstars. That's why my eyes keep going to, if you're bringing somebody in, my eyes are stuck on Lauri Markkanen. I wanted him at the trade deadline this past year. I wanted him before this past season started. I've been talking about Lauri Markkanen on this team for like 18 months maybe now as the perfect complement. Him and taking out Tobias Harris and putting Lauri Markkanen in this team. We are still playing basketball if Lauri Markkanen, not Tobias Harris, is our 4. Now, he's not the only answer. You still need to build a team around it, but having Maxey and Embiid being your 1, Lauri Markkanen as your 2, 3, and then having some depth and stuff and having the money to spend to keep other players and bring other players in, that's the way to go. Now, I don't think Lauri Markkanen is a realistic expectation now. I think the ship on Lauri Markkanen might have sailed. And we're going to talk about that as well in a minute. I want to get some more of these comments in here. Will Morey is a horrible Daryl Morey is just not a good executive, Michael. I have you might be new since this is only the start of week 3 right here on Edge of Philly Sports for Trending in the AM. So if you're new to the program, I have been saying negative things about Daryl Morey since the day he was hired in Philadelphia. I foresaw and said on this show every single thing that has happened. The day he signed, I'm like, we're getting James Harden, and it's going to be a bad move. He gets James Harden. I'm saying it's not going to work out. Said James Harden blew our chance at winning the title last year. It played out that way. Everything Daryl Morey does, he's a starstruck kind of guy. He likes to go to the whiteout parties with Michael Rubin. He likes to think he's cool. He's that cool dude. No, he's a terrible executive. Has never built a winner yet, and I don't understand why he's put in that hierarchy of elite executives because he's not. You don't need a super team. You don't. One thing you do need, Mitchie Poo, is if you look at every single team that has won a title over the last 20 years, the 1A or 1B on every single team has been an elite scoring /3-and-D /wing player. A guy that could score, play defense, run the floor. Whether it's a big 2, a small forward, or a shooting power, a shoot and stretch forward. There is an elite runner, athlete, whatever you want to call it, Mitch. Basically, we'll just call it a 3. An elite 3 on every single team. Some of them play 2/3. Some of them play like a hybrid 3-4. But every single champion has had that elite athlete that could do it all. The Sixers don't have that at all. Out of all of Morey's draft picks, the only one in the team are Maxey and Paul Reed. Well, you got to give him credit for Maxey. And Paul Reed could kick rocks in my opinion. So there's that too. Phil's going to miss Tobias Harris. I am not anymore going to miss Tobias Harris. Guys, real quick, you're watching Trend in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports, and we are brought to you by SherryTickets.com. Make sure you check them out. Great moments don't just happen. They happen with you in the crowd. It's easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more, SherryTickets.com. Get the ticket you want. You could save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10 and share an experience that will live on in your memories forever. Don't pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come tickets for the big game? If you need a more personal touch, you can call them directly, 610-494-5050. Again, that's 610-494-5050. Or visit them, sherrytickets.com. Again, don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best. Save promo code EOP10, sherrytickets.com. Right back to the comments here. Phil loves Daryl Morey. No, I don't love Daryl Morey. Not even in the least bit. Guys, you got to think about this here. We talk about the stars. We talk about the fringe players. We talk about who comes, who goes, and whatnot with the Sixers team. But we also, and I said I had to get back to Tyrese Maxey shortly here. The question is, how do you build this team? How do you want this team to look? Who do you want to run this team through? Right now, this is Joel Embiid's team. Obviously, we know that. You know that. I know that. We all know this is Joel Embiid's team. And he will always be the biggest star on this team. But is that right? Should this team be run through Tyrese Maxey? Now, Joel Embiid could still be the leader. Joel Embiid still could be the superstar. But offensively speaking, the ball needs to be in Tyrese Maxey's hand more. And so when we talk about building a team to complement Joel Embiid, is there a scenario in your head where we shouldn't be complimenting Joel? We should be trying to complement Tyrese Maxey the best way. Tyrese Maxey's 23. He's going to, still get better theoretically in his career. He has not reached his peak yet. So in theory, he can get better. So what do you need to add to Tyrese Maxey? Needs to be a question. There's two scenarios on how this offseason is going to play out. Daryl Morey's going to be starstruck, overpay for a Paul George, or overpaying a trade for Jimmy Butler, and we're going to win a title. Or he's going to be starstruck and he's going to overpay for those guys. It's going to bomb, and then he's going to get fired, and everything's going to be blown back up, and we're going to start at square one. I don't have the faith in Daryl Morey to make these right decisions. But what the right decision should be is to be thinking of big picture. You still got Joel Embiid for 2 more years, maybe 3 or 4. Actually, there's another theory right there. Joel Embiid might want an extension this offseason too. That might be something he's got to work on. That'll be the first big news of the offseason. A max extension for Joel Embiid or something like that. But what you got to think is, he's the star, but he's only here for 2 or 3 more years. You've only got prime Joel Embiid for 2 or 3 years more. Tyrese Maxey is who you should be building around and thinking about when you're making these decisions. You're going to give him the max extension this offseason, obviously, whatever that deal is. That should be the first deal. It might not be the first one signed, but it should be the first one announced. I don't know. You play with those things. Where you can go out and get Mikal Bridges and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, we've already talked about it. Jimmy Butler is. I think we're past Jimmy Butler at this point. I really do. I want to look something up here real quick. Mikal Bridges. I was trying to look up his contract really quickly, but I couldn't. I touched the wrong button there. I don't think Mikal Bridges would be given to us very cheaply by the net. I think it'd be a very hard trade to work out. I'm looking up his contract right now because I wasn't thinking he was realistically an option. Yeah, I don't think he's not a free agent until 26, 27. He's got 2 more years on a super cheap contract, $23 million, $24 million over the next 2 years. I don't think, Todd, that Mikal Bridges is realistically and it's a great point that you bring up Mikal Bridges, because Mikal Bridges falls into the same category as Lauri Markkanen to me. Jimmy Butler is in a separate stratosphere. He's a superstar, but he's on the downward side of his career. Mikal Bridges is young, and his career is still ascending. He's a good player. He's not a star. He's a great player to add this. But at $23 million at his age, 2 years left on his contract, if he's available by the Nets, and I don't know what the Nets are planning to do, Todd, but if he is available from the Nets, you think they're going to make it super cheap to pass him down the turnpike to the Sixers? the cost to get Mikal Bridges, and that translates into my conversation with Lauri Markkanen, the cost to get Lauri Markkanen would be extreme. And again, I'm not against trading draft picks. Not one bit. You just better be aware that, just for argument's sake, say Mikal Bridges or Lauri Markkanen are worth 2 first-round picks. To the Sixers, they're going to be worth 3 first-round picks. Are you willing to overpay in a trade for Mikal Bridges or Lauri Markkanen? That's the question. Now, Bridges, you might even overpay even more because you get 2 guaranteed years. Markkanen, he's only guaranteed for 1 more year. I say Lauri Markkanen, you have to overpay because it's Danny Ainge running the show in Utah. And we know how he likes to, rob the Sixers in trades. But you got to think not just of the player, but also the cost to acquire said player. But I do think one thing here, Todd, is that the best options to add to the Sixers come in the trade market versus the free agent market. There is not a lot of free agent players that I think would fit best here. But again, what do you need on this team? You need guys that are going to be athletes. You need the Josh Harts of the world on this team. You need the OG Anunobys of the world on this team. And I'm not just quoting the Knicks because the Knicks beat us, but that's the type of player we miss. Shooters we miss. Jumping all around here. When it comes to Hield, Oubre, and Campaign, would you like them all back or just 1 or 2 of them back? It depends on price and the role the team sees them in. Okay? We're going to work backwards here. Campaign, if you can get them cheap, sure. I think Campaign is not a regular rotation in the playoffs kind of guy, like he ended up being the last 3 or 4 games. I think Campaign's a nice 9th guy, your 3rd guard off your bench. Yeah. I mean, 15 minutes a game, sometimes 10. Like, that's Campaign is the old school shake, melt, and roll. He's good in spurts, but exposed if you put him out there too much. So if you can get him on a $2 or $3 million deal, sure, whatever. Buddy Hield, it depends on what this team looks like other move-wise. You go out and get a Lauri Markkanen, and I don't think you need a Hield. Because Buddy Hield's strength was supposed to be playing next to Joel Embiid. I don't know. And I just said I think you should be building long-term thinking around Maxey, not Embiid. So I don't know on him. Kelly Oubre, I absolutely want back on this team. Out of the 3, Oubre is 1,000% the guy I want. As long as, again, we use him in the right role. I think him 35 minutes a game starting is the wrong role for Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre, to me, is that perfect offensive spark off the bench. I also feel like Kelly Oubre gives you a little bit of toughness off the bench. But I think at 35, 40 minutes in a starting lineup, if it's not the right starting lineup, like at the end of the playoffs there, then Kelly Oubre gives you moments, but also gives you some head scratchers. So Oubre's number 1. I would absolutely love to give Kelly Oubre a 2 or 3 year deal. Lock him up semi-long term if you could get him cheap enough. But Kelly Oubre is 1. Buddy Hield's like a distant second. Well, Campaign's more that distant second. And Hield, I don't know. It just depends on roles. But Oubre has to be back. Has to be back on this team. Jimmy Butler would cost at too much as well on top of the age issue. Yeah, you got to trade for him. And supposedly, I got into a discussion on social media with a guy. I guess if you have salary cap, you don't have to match salaries in NBA trades. Is that accurate? I don't know. I just don't know how a trade for Jimmy Butler would even work. Not even the fact that he's got 2 years and 2 years, like $90 million or more left on his contract. Like, he's old, he's beat up. You're gonna have to trade 2 first-round picks to get him, probably a player too. I just don't. Jimmy Butler just does not make, and I'm not suggesting trading Joel Embiid. Let me just throw this out there. Not yet. We are going to do a trade Joel Embiid show later on this offseason, for sure. Maybe 2 or 3 of them. I'm not saying it, but it would make more sense to trade Joel Embiid to Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat, get back Bam and first-round picks, than it would be to trade a lot to bring Jimmy Butler here. That would make big sense to me more. We need Villanova DNA we're in our backyard. The Knicks showed us. Yeah, Todd, I got you. I got you. And the Nova exhibit is front and center. Yes, I bashed Nova nonstop, during the series, but they're in our backyard, and you don't have to get them right from Nova, but Nova DNA, heart, hustle, team players. Anybody that's been following my podcast journey, which started April of 2020, okay, knows that I've been asking for Josh. I've tried to find ways to get Josh Hart on this team. Sadiq Bey. There's another name that I've wanted on this team. Jack of all trades, masters of none, but guys that do whatever the team asks. Rebound, score, play defense, whatever. Start, come off the bench, whatever. Good morning, John. It's great to see you back in the comments today. I love Mikkel, but the Knicks are going to want us to back up the Brinks truck. Exactly. You got to think of that. And if you're going to back the Brinks truck up for him or Lauri Markkanen, you better be sure that is the right guy for the next not 2 years, but the next 5 to 6 years, because you're pairing whoever you bring in this offseason, whether it's a big star or a trade of a nice player like Bridges, you better be sure that them and Maxey are going to work together for the next 5 or 6 years. You might not have Joel for the next 5 or 6 years, but you're going to have this person, whoever it is, and Tyrese Maxey for the next 5 years. They better be the right. We can't be stuck in another Tobias Harris scenario this offseason or after this offseason. Agree with that 100%. Oubre could be a key piece with the second team. He could be, Steve, not just a key piece. He could be the leader of the second unit, okay? Like, he's that first guy off the bench, whether it's 6 minutes, 8 minutes, whenever there's that lull in the middle of the first quarter and you need a spark, boom. That's Kelly. Kelly Oubre is a 20 to 25-minute high-volume scorer, kind of like a guy, not the same version, but like the Lou Williams or the Jordan Clarkson, guys that just thrive off the bench as that spark plug off the bench. And that's what he is. And that's what I want. You can if you say you can get Oubre or Hield and Campaign, I'm taking Oubre 10 times and Sunday. What's up, Kevin? I'm in the Philippines. Oh, man. Wow. Local Philadelphia homeboy. We need a Malik Monk. Malik Monk is a name, and you know what? I am never one to shy away from admitting my wrongs. And I remember a couple years ago, I was still at my upstart DSM media, and I was talking to my boys Scotty and Dylan on the show, or maybe it was in a group chat, and they were talking about Malik Monk and how this was maybe when he got signed with the Lakers. I forget where he went. It was in the offseason. I'm like, dude, Malik Monk stinks. Because all I thought of was his time in Sacramento and how bad he was and how he couldn't even play. But Malik Monk's turned into quite a good bench scorer, for sure, Kevin. And I don't know if Malik Monk's a free agent or not, but sure. And so you're saying, Malik Monk type. Yeah, we basically, and I think Kelly Oubre could be that guy as well. A big scorer off the bench. But you got to build the right team so you don't need him. Good morning, Eric. How you doing? How you doing, man? Hope you had a good weekend. No old pros. Bridges from Charlotte. Bridges from Charlotte. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. With his background and his history, I believe everybody believes deserves second chances in life. If they pay the price of the crime, I don't know enough about his scenario, what his situation is, but I try to stay away from players with domestic violence issues in their history, proven or not. Like, I just try to stay away from it. Like, I don't want them on my team normally. But I do believe everybody gets second chances. So we would have to learn more from him if I would even remotely get in on that situation or be behind it. Jimmy's body is breaking down bad, not over trading. I'm not trading from it all, Eric. I agree. I think his body is breaking down, without a doubt. We need scores and tough second-tier players. Yeah, 1,000%. Nets probably still pissed about the Simmons trade. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Hey, Phil, how you doing? How are you doing? What do you think the Flyers will do this offseason for free agency? Man, we're trying to get a Flyers topic. I have literally 2 pages of notes here, Cameron. I got no notes on the Flyers here. I don't know what the Flyers are going to do. But what I do know what I want them to do is to really figure out 2 things. One, can we get that kid over here from Russia this offseason to really inject some excitement into this fan base? And they really got to figure out, and I feel like I've been saying this for 30 years, since Hextall came back the second time to the Flyers. The Flyers need to figure out their goalie situation. I don't think that they are set to be a real serious playoff contender with their current goaltending situation, obviously because of the fact that Carter Hart basically, he's done. So my number one thing is to figure out how to improve the goalie situation. 2, figure out if this kid's going to come over before 2026. And if he is going to come over before 2026, then you go all in. Problem is, if he's not coming over until 2026, you just keep taking your time, biding your time. Till then, we need a Malik Monk off guard and can play the point, especially pick and roll. Yeah. There needs to be some really serious, drastic. I don't want to know if changes, philosophical changes on how this team is built. The problem is that Daryl Morey far too often becomes starstruck, and I don't trust him. What's your thoughts on bringing? I see so many people, Todd, saying bring Nico Boom Boom Batum back. I keep seeing people. Did I misunderstand his situation earlier this season when he was dealing with family stuff when we first got him in a trade? Because I thought I remembered him saying he was retiring at the end of the season. And I could be totally off guard with that, totally off center. But I thought he was done. Could be totally wrong. Totally wrong there. I have no problem if Batum came back. In theory, the Batum player, just like Buddy Hield, is perfect with Joel out there. And Batum had some really good games in the playoffs and at the end of the season when Joel came back. And before Joel went down, Batum was having a really good run. So Batum is the type of player that's a good bench piece when Joel plays. When Joel's not out there, I don't know. That goes into the fact that you need to improve your backup center position a little bit more. Guys, make sure you check out phillysportstrips.com. They are your favorite, travel with your favorite team, travel with the best, travel with phillysportstrips.com. They got a great travel package, August 30th to September 8th to Brazil to go see our Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers week 1. They have full travel packages, self-travel packages. If you can't make it to Brazil, you want to go on a bus trip. I'm sure that I think I saw one to Baltimore to see the Phillies play. Obviously, they always do them to Washington and the Meadowlands to see our Eagles play. Make sure you check them out, phillysportstrips.com. Let them know EOP sent you. Let them know Trending in the AM sent you. And have a bus trip, have a fun experience, a tailgate, everything at these events. The one to Brazil, hotels, travel, everything's included. Check them out, phillysportstrips.com. Travel with the best, okay? And let them know EOP Trending in the AM sent you. Back to the comments here as we continue on here. Let me find my lost spot there. Hart should have been on this team. All we had to do was mention him, and he'd come back in Tybal deal, and DiVincenzo could have been here with a portion of money invested in PJ Tucker. Look, again, all that's said here, who made all these wrong decisions? Daryl Morey. So the future, not just the 2024-2025 season, but the next 3 to 5 years, hell, the next 10 years of our Sixers organization's future is on the line this offseason. And I don't trust Daryl Morey to make the right decisions because time in and time again, Daryl Morey has made the wrong decision. The Sixers bench has been a problem for years. What's up, Duck, by the way? One person is not going to resolve this. They need to get younger and hungrier. So we cycle in player to event. We absolutely need to get younger, hungrier, healthier, athletic. We need to get all those adjectives on our bench and on our starting line. Look at the teams that are out there. There's a lot of teams. Athletic, hard-fighting teams. Teams like the Knicks that just beat us. They don't got 3 big superstars. They got 2-ish. If you consider Julius Randle a superstar, and he didn't even play. But they're just a well-rounded team. Again, for those that are just joining us now, there's a lot of new people coming in, a lot of new comments. Again, I'm going to repeat something off here, okay? LeBron James, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Zion Williamson, Jimmy Butler, Bam Bayou, Joel Embiid, Zach LaVine, all these superstars, parts of big teams, combo teams. None of them are in the playoffs. They're all either missed the playoffs or out already after one round. Why? Because these teams have this old school philosophy on how to build their winners. And you look at the teams that are winning right now, the teams that are still in it, they're teams. Teams win, not superstar pair-ups in this day and age. So the Sixers really need to consider a philosophical what builds a winner team. Hell, look at Nick Nurse when he won the title with the Toronto Raptors. They had the one-year rental Kawhi as their leader, and they had a young OG, a young Pascal Siakam, young Fred VanVleet, who was an unknown at the time. You had a bunch of young, hungry guys and one star. Well, you got 1.5 stars in Maxey and Embiid. Build the right team around them. Don't get starstruck and build the right team. Oubre is a must resign. Yeah, I mean, I would really, really love him to resign. I cannot say he's a must if they go out and get another Oubre Monk type for that bench. They just better, if they don't resign him, they better have a better option than him. That's all I'm going to say there. It's not a must, but it would be appreciative. Healed Oubre Payne, great bunch pieces. I agree with you, Phil. Jimmy Butler, no. Stay with younger stars, build for the next. You really got to think of the next 4 to 5 years. It took you 2 off seasons to finally get to the point where you've got 5 tradable draft picks. Because they got 5 tradable draft picks, basically. And I'm just going to say it. There's a theory in my mind. I'm not saying I want it. There's a theory in my mind that trading this year, we've got the 16th pick in the NBA draft, that instead of saying it's traded, it should be with the 16th pick in the NBA draft. The Sixers select. Don't know who. I don't know anything about this year's draft class. Okay? But in theory, at 16, you might be able to get a decent player. Not necessarily that helps day one, but a player that you got to think 4 or 5 years, 10 years. Whatever, like I said, whoever we bring in this offseason, it's going to be here for the next 5 years with Tyrese Maxey. That's what you got to be thinking. That's the Howie Roseman way of thinking versus the Daryl Morey way of thinking. All the super teams got gone fishing hats. Absolutely. Absolutely. Think about it. Think it's and people say the Celtics are a super team. Both their max contract superstars and Tatum and Brown are homegrown guys. They drafted those guys. So it's not like they went out and bought their super team. So to say, yeah, they brought in Drew Holiday and they brought in pieces around them. But their 2 big stars, homegrown guys. Yes, he does starstruck. He wants to go to the Michael Rubin whiteout party and rub elbows with rappers and NBA superstars and whatnot. They don't care about building a team. He cares about stars. And that's what Josh Harris cares about too. Because Josh Harris cares about the money. And that's it. He doesn't care about titles. So he's got the perfect executive in charge of his team. A GM that can't win you a title, but it's going to bring the star power in. Having the star power here makes those front row tickets at the Wells Fargo Center worth a little bit more money. When you got you go out and get LeBron James, who's going to be a name that's going to come up a lot this offseason. He is. Whether you like it or not, whether it's realistic or not, don't matter. His name's going to get bounced around a lot this offseason. You bring LeBron in, those luxury boxes, prices go up. That's all Josh Harris cares about. In fact, now that I'm talking it out loud, I almost feel like Josh Harris has probably told Daryl Morey, go star hunt. But it's all about making money for him. He don't care about the titles. Not at all. Eagles going to win the Brazil game. Pin that baby. Absolutely. At some point this week, Eric, normally it's about the 8th or 9th of May. So that would be, today, the 6th? All right, today's the 6th. Happy Cinco de Mayo yesterday to everybody. Hope you had a margarita and a taco. I had beer and a quesadilla, but whatever. I think the schedule's getting released this week. Wednesday or Thursday, we should know the Eagles' schedule, which means a lot of Eagles talk that day after on this very show. No doubt about that. But we know week one, Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. And, yeah, of course they're going to win that game. Again, I'm not still set on the Packers. I do got I think I finished my top 10 post NFL draft power rankings. I'll get the graphic finished up and post it, and we'll talk about it on this show later this week. I can't wait for the Eagles to play the Giants so we can get those annoying Knicks fans back. Yeah, exactly, Todd. Um, yeah, Eagles are gonna be a damn good team this year. Don't you worry about that. Dumb Daryl, that who he's known as the Rayner household. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I forgot your last name for a second there. All the teams in playoffs are built like the 04-05 Pistons and Spurs. The Knicks superpower is their second unit. Yeah, I think it's a great analogy. The 04-05 Pistons. That was the Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace. Dominating big man in the middle, block shots, grabs rebounds, a good shooter and leader in Rip Hamilton. Chauncey Billups, a really good point guard that knows how to win. I think that was, I'm talking the right team, I hope, right? Really solid coach that preaches defense and Larry Brown and team above individual. That is the Knicks. That's a great analogy right there. Later, Duck. You got a desk, not got to actually not be a desk jockey today. Well, that's disappointing. I don't know what I'm going to do without Duck in the comments. Break my heart. Good morning, Joe. How you doing this morning? Hope you had a great weekend. Just saw a stat this morning. There is only 6 over 30-year-old players still in the playoffs today. Actually, let's see the floor. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, 'cause I was like, there's got to be some guys that are over 30, like riding the benches and stuff like that. But yeah, okay. Yeah, got to get younger. And Joel Embiid's 30 now. So, I know it's going to cost a lot. I do. And I know you guys brought up Mikal Bridges earlier. But my number one target has been for almost 2 years now on this show for the Sixers, the perfect pairing. I think it would have been easier last year when you still had Tobias Harris to trade for him. But the number one target for me is Lauri Markkanen. He's 26. He'll get you 20, 25 points a game. He'll shoot you close to 40% from three. Plays a little bit of defense. Plays a little bit of, rebounding game. Perfect shooting. Compliment to Joel and Tyrese Maxey. I'm going to throw one other name out there for you guys, okay? And he's a little bit older. I did the research yesterday. I guess I got to find the tweet to find it. I don't have this note down anywhere. I got another name for you guys that if we strike out on Lauri Markkanen, if we strike out on a couple of these guys, he's 30 years old. He's got 3 years left on his deal, about $90 million. He's a three-point shooter, shot over 40% his last 2 years. Great defensive player, runs the floor, does everything we just talked about. So if you strike out, you might be able to get in a trade very cheaply. Now, you'd be stuck to his 3 years, approximately $90 million. But a name, and this is not because of the process. He's a much different player than he was when he was here during the process era. My backup plan would be Jeremiah Grant, former Sixer from many years ago. Plays with Portland. Portland's still in rebuild mode. Maybe 16 straight up. Get you Jeremy Grant. Gives him another first-round pick. They get off the $90 million. We get a 3-and-D shooter. Someone like him. If you can't get Brandon Ingram, who a lot of people want, and I don't even know if I want Brandon Ingram. If you can't get Markkanen, can't get Bridges, a cheaper version and cheaper option, I wouldn't call him a star. He would know his role here. Just thinking out loud there. I had a beer and folded my pizza in half. That was your Cinco de Mayo taco. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we had Chili's DoorDash here yesterday, doing work around the house. Celtics are most definitely not a super team. Tzingis was an unnecessary acquisition. Danny would have never made a move like that. Yeah. The Celtics aren't a super team, but they're probably going to win the NBA title this year, or they're going to be fighting for it. Yeah, we'll hold it down. As Duck leaves, Marshawn shows up. If the Celtics don't win it this year, I don't know if they ever win with this group. It's Clear-cut path for them, Marshawn, for sure. And welcome to the show. Clear-cut path for him, for them to get there. Just can Jalen Brunson go to his left? Brandon Ingram, I mean, I just accidentally mentioned his name. Now see the comment. I know people are going to bring his name up a lot. I'm indifferent on him. I'll take him over Jimmy Butler, and I know that sounds crazy. Injured a bit later in his career. A good third option. He can't be the star. He can't be the number one player. He would have to complement Maxey and Embiid. Problem is, he's not a great three-point shooter, is he? I don't know what his three-point percentage is for his career. Let me type in his name real quick. Brandon Ingram. Let's see what his three-point shooting percentage is over the last couple years. Not even for his career, just the last couple I care about. So this year he shot 35%, 39, 32. He's a 36% shooter. He still scores you 20 points a game. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be totally against it. I thought he was a little bit more injury prone than he was. I thought he had slowed down a little bit, maybe just slowed down the playoffs this year. I think he'd be a good player. I would like if he's your next big acquisition, you better go out and find 2 or 3 snipers to rotate in and out, Buddy Hield and somebody else. Because 35%, you need a little bit better than that. Now his percentage might go up, with Joel Embiid and Maxey dishing out to him wide open. I don't know. But Zion was probably doing that too. So I have no problem. Brandon Ingram's above a lot of the other names that have been brought up here. Who what? Markkanen and Grant, nice team additions. Dude, if you got both of them, holy shoot. Todd, you find me Grant and Markkanen this offseason, and you give me a starting lineup of Maxey, Markkanen, Grant, and Embiid, and whoever else you want to put out there, help bring back Buddy Hield. Maxey, Hield, Markkanen, Grant, and Embiid. That's a pretty darn good starting lineup. Let me write this one down so I don't forget it. Let's write this down. Markkanen, Grant, Maxey, Joel, and Hield. Is that a winning lineup right there? Is that? Jeremy Grant, no, you can't have LeBron aspirations and end up with Grant. Who has LeBron James? And it's funny that you say it. We are now 47 minutes into the show. 47 minutes into the show, guys. And we've talked nothing but Sixers. But it took 47 minutes into the show for someone to mention LeBron James's name. And I kind of did tap or hint at it earlier. There are going to be a lot of LeBron James rumors this offseason. He's going to be a free agent. He's always been linked to Philly, off and on. LeBron James, I actually have no problem with it. I would take LeBron over Paul George. I would take LeBron James over Jimmy Butler. If you're going to go superstar hunting, go get the best of the best in LeBron James. Of course. But is it realistic? No. Is it a smart big picture move for the next 3 to 5 years? No. I don't consider the LeBron discussions realistic because I just don't think it'll ever happen. Knicks, Pacers, T-Wolves, Nuggets, OKC, all smoke the seas. I don't know about that. I still don't buy into the Timberwolves. I know they even beat the Nuggets in game 1. I just hate Karl Anthony Towns so much. I think he's such a punk. That I can't root for them or believe in them. I would love to see a Nuggets OKC conference finals and a Knicks Celtics one. They'd be some really good matchups. It's the same core guys for the Celtics. Tatum and Brown are 1 to 3 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they've been so good, a complete team for a while. Just got to get over the hump. What's up, Harry? How you doing? We'd love to bring back Oubre and Payne, bring in any of Brandon Ingram, PG3, Jimmy, or LeBron on 2 to 3 years. Yeah, see, Harry, you had me till you brought in those things because I think Brandon Ingram is in a different class. I think Paul George, it's not a good idea. Jimmy Butler, too old. LeBron, it's a short-term fix, sure. I think if you take a bunch of players off the Sixers team, Harris, anybody, the bench players, whatever, you substitute LeBron, this team is still playing. LeBron with Maxey and Embiid, still playing. Problem with LeBron to me, Harry, is that LeBron might not, but might hamper Tyrese Maxey's development as an NBA player. He's a star. I think he's a budding superstar. He's going to get a supermax contract here sometime in the next couple months. LeBron might hamper Tyrese Maxey, but I think this team, a core three of LeBron, Joel, and Maxey, there's a damn good chance they win the Eastern Conference. I don't know about a title, but damn good chance they win the Eastern Conference if they all stay healthy. Love to bring in Rob Williams too. See, I love random names. Like, it doesn't have to be the superstar name. If you get Grant and Morey, then this bench is torpedoed. I don't know about that. Why is it torpedoed? I don't know if that's necessarily true. You'd be trading for them. So you still probably could build out your lineup somehow and your roster somehow. What the hell is that sound? It sounds like one of my dogs is crying and whining upstairs. Damn dog. Would also love to see Gary Trent Jr. in the backcourt. I brought his name up in the post therapy session, and we brought him up in the past. And with all the former Raptors players, you just got to ask: do they get along with Nick Nurse? That's got to be the question. Gary Trent, I think, would be a good bench piece, a good backup guard. I don't know if you want to start him with him, but it might not be the worst. That lineup we talked about already: Larry Markkinen, Jeremy Grant, Maxey Embiid with Gary Trent. There's a lineup that just seems like a lot to pull off. I put Malik over Buddy. Sure, that's fine. Malik Monk over Buddy. I don't know, is Malik Monk available? I see people keep bringing up Malik Monk types, but then you bring up Kevin Malik Monk specifically. Yeah, I'm intrigued about bringing Buddy Hield back. I'm intrigued if you can get it. There was talk that we joked on this show, like, once we traded for him, that Morey was going to max extend him, which would have been a mistake, but he's still going to have to give him big money, whatever. Like, Buddy Hield might have played himself out of a really big contract with the ending of his season. I know he was really good in Game 6, but outside of that, he was really, really bad in the playoffs. If you can get Buddy Hield cheaply, I think Buddy Hield's a really good option to bring back. And I'd really be intrigued with him starting full-time with Joel Embiid for a long stretch. Yeah, see, Marshawn's the one that said, Marshawn corrected me last week and said it's Trent and OG that don't get along with Nurse. I thought it was Bam and Precious that didn't get along with Nurse. Not Bam, Siakam and Precious that didn't get along with Nurse. I misremember that story, but, you can't bring guys in. Although Darius Slay worked with, not very successfully, but worked with Matt Patricia this year. LeBron James, never heard of them. If he in the French league, what? Yeah. Never heard of them if he in the French league. I don't understand that one. He going to play in France. Court 12. K1, what is up, my man? What is up? Need a Drummond reunion. First off, the greatest addition to a contract ever. If you don't make it out of the first round, your contract is void. So Reed is gone, hypothetically. They're not going to pick up his $7+ million option. The thing is now, you could bring back Paul Reed on a cheaper deal, maybe, or you move on. But for the Andre Drummond reunion crowd, I will say, I can't say I'm 1,000% on board with Andre Drummond. Now, if we bring in someone like Andre Drummond, you can use the Andre Drummond type. That's what we need. We need a better – you can't think of the backup center position solely as the guy that's playing 10 to 12 minutes a game when Joel is on the bench. You need to think of the backup center for the 20 to 25 games a year that Joel Embiid is not going to start. And that's where I think Paul Reed's fine at $2 million as the backup to Joel Embiid. But Paul Reed can't start and play 30 minutes a game 25 times a year, which is going to happen. We've got to think like that. And it's okay. You don't have to be terrible. You're not a terrible fan for thinking that way. You're not a Joel hater thinking that way. So if Andre Drummond was acquired at the trade deadline, like we almost had, Harry, I think we're still playing right now. Not because he would have made a difference in the series, because we wouldn't have fallen to the 7 seed in the conference. We might have gotten a matchup against the Orlando Magic or a matchup with some other team. We might have been going into the playoffs with a little bit more confidence. You might have been able to get Joel Embiid healthier in the playoffs by not playing him 44 minutes. So you really got to think of that. You got to think of the backup center role for 25 games a year, not the backup center role for the next 12 minutes a game that Joel sits. That's how you have to evaluate the backup center and who's the right one. And Drummond would be nice. But we're always stuck on the former guys, and we're not thinking there's got to be more options than just Andre Drummond. Just saying. I don't think LeBron put us anywhere near title contenders. He'd have to have several players ready to follow him. It's a good point. LeBron is the leader. Does Joel take a back seat to LeBron? I don't know. I think Joel wants that title really bad. I really do. I think not awards, but recognition is extremely important to Joel Embiid. So I think he would fall in line if he had to, if you use that line. He would acknowledge LeBron James. If LeBron can't win here, then we're beyond cursed. If Maxey then get calls while playing LeBron, we're beyond cursed. I got what you're saying there. Jason, what is up, my man? LeBron feels like the type of move this ownership would covet. They clear absolutely. And I don't know if you caught that. I said that about 20 minutes ago. Josh Harris only cares about taking those luxury boxes and upping the price of them, taking those courtside seats and tacking 20% on. And if you go get LeBron, think about the money that you can add to those tickets, the jersey sales. That's all that matters. TV contracts, radio contracts, advertise. He's gonna call up, drive David, my man David Kelleher, your dealer that you didn't even know he was your dealer. Be like, yo, you want your name plastered all over the arena? Cost just went up 10%. What? It just went up another 10%. Hey, if you don't like it, I'll call D'Ambrosio. They'll put it up there. You know, that like LeBron is the money move. So is a couple other guys. Paul George is a money move. Jimmy Butler is a money move. Doesn't make them the right move, but the problem is, and I wonder, because owners love to meddle. We've seen Jeffrey Lurie meddle. We've seen John Middleton meddle. I wonder if Josh Harris meddles a little too much. It goes to Daryl Morey. Yo, this is what I want. I want you to bring in stars. That's how we're going to make money. I wonder. It's interesting. What about Siakam? What's his contract? I mean, he just went to the Pacers. He's still playing with the Pacers. I don't think he's available. I don't think the Pacers would trade him. If he is available, my one biggest issue with Siakam being a Sixer would be I'd have to be a complete hypocrite because I've spent so much time in my last few years complaining about Siakam's elbow push off that he does. That's it. Siakam has one offensive move: push off with his elbow, make the shot. That's all he's got. And I've criticized him a lot, so I would struggle not to criticize him. Just saying. Mike, what is up? How you doing? 5 in a row for the Phillies. We can throw as we get to the later half of this show here. Are the Phillies really the best team in baseball, and is it sustainable? Is it sustainable? Let's hope so. It's damn fun watching winning baseball. Malik Monk is a free agent. That's good. Go for it. You won't hear me complaining about Malik Monk. You will not hear me complain about Malik Monk whatsoever. Now, is he the one I want? I don't know. Did Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Knicks get along with Nurse? OG? I supposedly he did not. Who do we get for this? I have no idea who's in the draft. But trade-wise, I think it's a starting point for Jeremy Grant, for Mikal Bridges, for Laurie Marketing. Just not enough. You got to find something else to put there. Malik is a free agent. Sacramento can only over him. Malik Monk, I thought he played somewhere else. Maybe it's Sacramento. Hey, Phil, how you with your Byron Nelson picks? Well, the Napster, Jake Knapp, was my best contender out of my outright bets. Let me look here who my other bets, how they finished. Justin Lauer was doing good at one point. I know he did not win. Hoagie was like 40th place. That didn't go well. Garrett Higo missed the cut. So 4 of my players that I bet did well. One did really well, but collapsed in the last final 9 holes. And one was terrible. We got Wells Fargo Championship talk tomorrow. K1, if you want to catch a show, tomorrow's a great fairway to heaven at 6 o'clock. 3-time fantasy golf writer of the year by the highest ranking, writers awards group there is out there. 3-time writer of the year. Len Hochberg will be joining us. One of the best, one of the legends in the fantasy sports writing world will be joining me for about 20, 30 minutes tomorrow as a guest. So you might want to check that out. He's a great guy. Move on from Reed. He made me look bad. That's a no-no. Yeah. Don't make Eric look bad, right? What's up, Eric? How you doing this morning? They need to get rid of Tobias Harris. Well, they already got rid of him. He is no longer a Philadelphia 76er. And find a reliable scoring defender. Brunson toast him. Yeah. Well, you don't got to worry about him. There will literally be an uproar in Philadelphia if Daryl Morey brings Tobias Harris back. Yeah, nobody wants Eric looking ridiculous. Not at all. Backup center from Purdue. Okay. I don't know. The player of the year from Purdue. Sure. Go for it. Go for it. Draft somebody, actually. That'd be nice. The Sixers have picked 16 and 41 in the draft this year. With Drummond at the deadline, we'd be sending Doc and his buck home. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with that. Preach it. Yes, that's right. That's right. All right, real quick. We'll get back to the comments in a second here. Really quickly, I want to bring up our great friends, David R. Cherry from the Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Law Firm. They're here to fight for you and get you what you deserve. They're a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of PA. Give them a call, 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. And I left K1's comment up there for the read, so he got a little extra promotion there. Jose, what is up, my man? OKC are enjoying the spoils from the process they went through. Yeah. See, OKC was allowed to do their process, Jose, because, they didn't title it the process. They didn't monetize their tanking, but they did it to perfection. And they've built a young core, and they've got some young budding superstars on that team. Plus, Alexander, who is a superstar already, in my opinion. SGA is one of the top 10 players in the NBA, maybe top 5 in the NBA, without a doubt. They did it right there in OKC. And they're a fun team to watch. Young, they don't need a superstar. People are like, they might trade some things for like a super. No, they don't even need a superstar. They're just getting the experience on the fly. And there's a chance that OKC might win multiple titles over the next couple years, 10 years or whatever with that group. Siakam sounds like something Eric Gar from the early 2000s would have yelled out after switching. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's right. See, thanks. I really nailed it for you. I'm glad. Dixon from Nova might be there in the late first. See, and this is, again, we just dealt with this, for the last couple of weeks with the NFL draft. I don't watch college sports much. As we get close to each sports draft, I start reading up and studying. We're still a little ways away from the NBA draft, so I haven't really dove into the prospects. But again, I started the show, for those that are late, with the theory, do you want to trade pick 16? Or do you want to try to find, again, remember, and I went back to the 2020 draft when we drafted Tyrese Maxey, because that's about the time frame where you kind of get an understanding of what players really are. And the 16th pick was Isaiah Stewart with the Portland. But right around there, you had Sadiq Bey, Precious Achiuwa, Aaron Nesmith, Tyrese Halliburton, all went in the middle teens there. Later, you had Tyrese Maxey at 21 to the Sixers. You can get, we know Giannis went after the top 10 in his draft. You could get decent players. It doesn't have to be top 5 to get a decent player. You can get, if you've got a good evaluation process and you've got a good coach and a good training and development staff, you can make a guy picked in that middle of the first round a player. But you got to be thinking big picture. He's not going to come in and lead this team with Joel Embiid and Maxey next year to a title. But you got to, if you want to keep 16, it's because you're thinking the next 5 to 10 years, not the next 2. And I understand Sixers want to maximize Joel. They want to get it done now. They want to win a title now. And I get all that. But what I don't get or don't agree with is that it's necessarily the right option. I just keep coming back to, do I trust Daryl Morey making these decisions? And do I trust that he won't just be starstruck and go for the the sticker shock, the high-priced big guy that's not going to win, but it's going to put butts in the seats, casuals in the seats. I don't know. OKC is a small market team, so they could do the process. Knicks been doing the process since like the 2006. And look where they're at now. They're a much better team and better set for the future than the Sixers ever were. It's frustrating. It's tough to see this. It's tough to see the teams that are left in the playoffs right now. It is. And to see they did things the way, not that they should be done, according to whoever, but the way they probably should. You look at it, the Pacers doing things the right way. Building. Not star hunting. Minnesota, not star hunting. Cleveland, I guess they star hunted a little bit with Donovan Mitchell. Dallas, I guess they kind of did, star hunt with Kyrie Irving, but he's a shell of his form. Well, he's still a really good player, but he's not the Kyrie Irving of 3 to 5 years ago. Luka was a built from within kind of guy. Indiana, I already mentioned them. Denver, built from within. Boston, built from within. OKC, built from within. A majority of the teams that are playing right now are built homegrown teams, not star hunting teams. And Joe, this is spot on, okay? I would love to give the Phillies a little time. If you want to talk Phillies, and like I said it. They're the best team in baseball right now, 24-11. Best team in baseball. And I asked one simple question. Is it sustainable? Are they really this good? Let's think about it, okay? They won 7 in a row, then lost 2 games. Then they won 4 in a row and lost 1 game. Now they've won 5 in a row. That's 9 and 7, 16-3 over their last 19 games. You've got the best hitter in baseball in Alec Bohm, who I just love seeing it. I love Alec Bohm, the person, and I love Alec Bohm, the player. They're 24-11. Kyle Schwarber's still only hitting 200. Pretty typical. 8 home runs is a lot, but it's not really for him. Bryce Harper slowly starting to come around, but still hasn't fully gotten there. Trey Turner just went on the IL for the next 6 weeks, he said. Okay. Nick Castellanos isn't hitting his weight. He ain't hitting my weight. He hitting your weight. He ain't hitting Liam, his kid's weight. And yet they're still there. The bullpen has been very sketchy. Very sketchy, the bullpen. Alvarado, your closer, has got over a 4 ERA. Dominguez should probably be sent down to the minors. But yet, they're the best team in baseball. And on top of all that, Rob Thomson is still making questionable coaching, managing decisions on a nightly basis. But yet they're 24-11. So, in theory, and I did the math last night or this morning with their winning percentage. I had to do it this morning because I had to do it after they won the game. They're on pace to win 110, 111 games this year. With all these things not going right yet for the Phillies. So is there a chance, hypothetically, they can even be better than this? Or that when other people start coming up and getting to where they should be, some people will, level out. Alec Bohm's not going to hit 365 all year long, but he's going to come down. Not only is it sustainable, there's a scenario in my mind where the Phillies could have regular season-wise. I would hope better postseason success. The Phillies could very well be the 2011 Phillies and just win the most games in baseball. Now, I think, what did they win? 102, 104 games in 2011? But yeah, this team is capable of winning. I did not think it. I had them winning 88 games I predicted? I didn't think this team would start out this red hot. They've never started out this hot to start a season. But there's so much talent on this team so that when somebody has a bad game, there's always someone else to stand up. And this team, along with the Eagles, is something that the Sixers should be looking at. What teammates look like. What people that love to pick up each other. One down, the other's going to step up. Joel's down, Nobody steps up. Tyrese is down. Nobody steps up. Phillies love each other. They want to win for each other. They want to win for their coach, who isn't even a good coach. If Sam Hinkie would have been allowed just 4 of his 5 years in this process, we would have dynasty. Yeah, there's a possibility. I would love to talk to Sam Hinkie someday, and not just for 10 minutes, like for a long stretch, and go through every single move the Sixers made after he was let go, and say, what would you have done here instead? How do you have a 200 hitter batting leadoff? Okay, Juan. I swore I would not complain about it. Okay, I did. Kyle Schwarber is not the prototypical leadoff hitter. But the Phillies win when Kyle Schwarber's leading off. Whether he's right or not, I don't know. But it seems to work. Oh my God, that dog is whining. Sometimes my dogs whine like babies when they're not getting what they want. I hear, that's all I hear upstairs. Ranger, the silent assassin Suarez. He's pitched 7 times this year. We've won all 7 of his starts. You go into these games. You got Taijuan Walker, who's not pitching awful, but whatever. Okay, he's your worst pitcher in your rotation right now, and he wins last night. And then you follow it up with Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, then Ranger Suarez. I mean, seriously. Now, I want to see Ranger Suarez do it for a whole year. He has pitched well in seasons, but he always seems to get injured or banged up at some point every year. I'd love to see Ranger Suarez. He's not going to keep it up at this rate, but I'd like to see Ranger Suarez pitch 200 innings, 180 innings, something like that. And I think if he could keep up some level of success, like everyone assumed, MVP of this team, Bryce Harper, ace of this team, Zach Wheeler. It's kind of Alec Boehm and Ranger Suarez. Zach Wheeler's actually having an amazing freaking. Ranger Suarez hasn't lost a game. The Phillies are. Zach Wheeler's 3-3. Still got a sub-2 ERA, sub-1 WHIP. I mean, his last 2 starts didn't even have his best stuff and still threw shutouts. The Phillies are pitching and hitting perfectly right now. Clutch hitting, timely hitting, gappers. It's not just a home run ball. Small ball I've seen. Some sketchy defense from time to time. But that's a different story. Defense doesn't matter in today's game, I guess. Big difference from last year's start to this year's start is runs scored. The team is actually scoring 5 or more runs in most games. I saw a stat, and I forget it now, and I didn't think it was important at first because I didn't think we'd have to talk long about the Phillies because people don't like to talk Phillies on this show, is that I forget what the number was. It was the amount of times the Phillies have been up 2 runs or more after the 4th inning this season. And it's an insane number that they've been up by 2 runs or more by the 4th inning of every game. And when you get up runs, pitchers can relax more. Not a close game. You relax more. Less pressure. Less of those pressure-packed innings. If I give up a run, it's okay. We've got a 4-run lead. I think it's an amazing thing the way this offense is clicking and the pitching is dominating based off of the offense. The secret to Philly's success is they copied Phil's format and they established a core 12. They really do. They truly have a core 12 over there with the Philadelphia Phillies, without a doubt. But is it sustainable? Like, I don't want to be negative, but the Trey Turner injury, he's got a hamstring problem. They said it's not that serious. And Trey Turner came out the other day and said he expects to miss about 6 weeks, that if he's back in 4 weeks or less, it's a miracle or something like that, he said. I mean, is anybody else concerned with Trey Turner being gone? And Mundo Sosa will get a bulk of the time at shortstop for Trey Turner. And he's an okay filling guy for 6 weeks, though. That's a lot. They said that maybe Whit Merrifield will play a little bit of second, slide Stott over there. I hate doing that. When Bryce Harper missed a few games for his maternity leave, moved Bone back over to first. I like to keep young guys at their position and not move them around personally. But, you might have to make do for a few weeks with that. It does concern me because Trey Turner was really setting the tone at the top of the lineup. I think he was 1 or 2 in the league in hits before he got hurt. He was hitting over 300. Sosa's not going to hit 300. So there's a little concern there, but there's enough talent on this team. It's the thing. In the NBA, you spend all this money on superstars, they don't always win. This team is the stars are winning. The stars are playing to their potential. Giants, Angels, and Padres aren't good teams. Well, no team's as good as the Phillies. So, plain and simple. But they have, K1, this is definitely a topic to be brought up. Are the Phillies winning because they're scheduled to start the season? I mean, Cincinnati, they went 2-2. Cincinnati, record-wise, is a good team. They're young but good. The White Sox are terrible. The Rockies are terrible. Pretty much every team we've played this year, well, majority, we haven't played much against the Braves. We haven't played much against other elite competition this year. So is that why they're this good? I mean, way to bring the negativity into it, Kate. It's okay. You could be negative occasionally. I don't hate you for being negative. It happens occasionally. You're allowed to if you want. It is okay. But yeah, they haven't played great teams. Now, people might want to say that I was a little negative this weekend with the Phillies because of, again, just like like Daryl Morey, I'm anti Rob Thomson. No, I don't think you're being negative at all. I think you're being honest. I think it's very being honest with yourself. And I think they win despite some poor managerial decisions. And someone asked me, and I made this comparison. He's like Charlie Manuel. I didn't like Charlie Manuel, coach. He's goated in my mind because he won us a World Series. And I'll never besmirch his name. But I didn't like him when he was a manager. I didn't think he was that good. He made questionable decisions. But his players played for him. And his players won for him. And Rob Thomson, I may disagree with 90% of what Rob Thomson does. But they win. The difference is that the Phillies have a $3 billion payroll. They should win despite poor management. They should win a lot of games despite all the circus. They should. Topper has to get in Rojas's ear 2 missed. I think that's very interesting. I saw somebody complimenting Rojas because they were tough plays and, we just expect him to make those plays. But no, if you show you can make those plays, you can't make those 2 mistakes last night. Like, I know what 2 plays you're talking about because I was watching them. And in real time, like, oh, man, he was so close. Then when you really think about it and you see the replays, he was actually not that close on making either play. And they could have come back and bit us in the ass last night. Rojas has to learn when to throttle down. When to say, yeah, it's not the right moment to make the big play there. Let's just play it off the wall, just hold him to a double, whatnot. He's got to learn to read and track those balls a little bit better. He makes big mistakes like that. He makes big plays like that. But he also makes big mistakes like that. And they can come back to bite you. So Rojas was like really bad. Then his batting average kind of came up, so we started praising him. His average is coming back down now. I say you keep rolling with him. You got to teach him when is the right time to go for it and when not to go for it. When we sweep the Braves and the Dodgers, then I'll be a truther. I don't even think you got to sweep the Braves or the Dodgers. You just got to win series. That's all you got to do. And there's going to be downward times with this team. Oh, they might go out and lose today. 4:00 game on the wraparound, Monday afternoon game. It'll be on at the pizza shop. Come on out and see me, guys. Fox's Pizza. Come watch the Phillies game with me. I'll have it on the big screen at the shop. Come on in, watch the game with me. I think they play at 4:00 today. So come on out. But I've got a sweep series, but they should win them to prove it. Build the confidence now against these weak teams, K1. Maybe that gives you, if you build your confidence against the bad team, it gives you, some confidence. Maybe you're feeling good about yourself. You're feeling like you can't be stopped. There's a theory that maybe too overconfident is a problem, but there's the other theory that maybe makes you overachieve against the good teams. Maybe. I think all this Phillies talk is a great time to remind everybody to come out this upcoming Saturday, May 11th, starting at 2:30, pre and post game live. And myself, free Phillies tickets. Watch the game. The Streetlight Kitchen and Bar, 5400 Fern Boulevard in Drexel Hill. It's at the Holiday Inn, Drexel Brook Event Center. We'll all be, a whole bunch of Edge of Philly people will be there, guys. So make sure you come on out. I would love to meet some of you guys at this event. Shake hands, kiss some babies, do my thing. I would love a chance to meet some of you guys in person. The Streetlight, I pulled it off a little too quickly. the Street Light Kitchen and Bar. This Saturday, May 11th, starting at 2:30. Come on out. I've already seen a bunch of the EOP guys have said they're going to be there. So come on out. It'd be great. Plus, we'll get to watch a Phillies game. We could talk about the Phillies in person. Talk about whatever you want in person, guys. And make sure you stay locked into EOP, not just trending in the AM every single day, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Make sure you're hitting that like and share and subscribe button. We got a jam-packed schedule this week. Lots of post-game Philly shows. Unfortunately, no more Sixers post-game shows, obviously. There's 4 other shows today. Talking Smack Talk, Talking Philly Sports with Matty B, Football Smack Talk, Party on Broad. You got Fairway to Heaven tomorrow with Len Hochberg, DFS, 3-time Writer of the Year, Chalk Talk. Lots of great stuff this week. 28 shows on the channel. Make sure you're hitting the like button, the share button, the subscribe button on all the channels. We're past 13,100 now on YouTube. I want to see 15,000. I know it's a big, bold number. I want to see 15,000 subscribers on the EOP page, please. We got over 40,000 followers on Facebook. We need to get to 40,000 on YouTube. I need YouTube to be bigger than Facebook. So, guys, make sure you do all that. I'm just doing an early little cleanup there because we're talking Phillies, and I'd love to meet some of you guys there. We didn't get to talking Eagles at all. And maybe we don't talk Eagles. Maybe we talk more Sixers tomorrow, talk more Phillies tomorrow on this show. Maybe we'll save the football for the schedule release day later this week if they do it. I do want to end the show a little bit more serious. And I'm still doing my research on this topic, but brought it up already. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. And on Saturday's game, oh, thank you very much, Jose. Muchas gracias. Greatly appreciate that. On Saturday's Phillies game, I believe it was Saturday's game. I'm going through my tweets now because I want to find a specific tweet that had a quote on it from Saturday night. Where is it? Here it is. People would rather hear from you than about you. Okay? Think about this line. People would rather hear from you than about you. Okay? They had on the broadcast a gentleman by the name of Drew Robinson. He works for the Giants. He was a former baseball player. Didn't really have much success. He survived a suicide attempt. And I've started researching the story a little bit. Supposedly there's a story on him, like a documentary, like a mini segment from ESPN done on him. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it yet. Documenting his story of depression and stuff like that. But I didn't even know I was listening. He was on. I was kind of watching the game. I was kind of doing other stuff. And then I heard that line. And it really struck me. It really did. People would rather hear from you than about you. And it really hit me. So, again, we're going to try throughout this month to bring up mental health awareness as much as possible. Check in on your friends. Check in on your family. Check on your neighbors. You never know what they're going through in life. You'll have to find out afterwards when there's a problem. Phil's the needle mover. I wish I was the needle mover. I'm just a guy that talks a lot. Yes. We're one big happy family, Jose. One big happy family right here on Training the AM, the Core 12 and all my people. But again, trying to bring up mental health awareness as much as I can this month. And I always should. Check in on people. You never know what they're going through. And that line just got me. And then I stayed zoned in on the rest of the interview with Drew Robinson. Started doing my research into Drew Robinson. So I recommend checking it out. I recommend checking out his segment on the Phillies broadcast. And Taryn Hatcher did an excellent job interviewing him at the ball game. She's not all about just goofing around like, some would, think. Fantastic job, guys, from that there. So, guys, it's time to start the wrap-up process. Make sure you've hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. I tell you, I say this all the time sarcastically, but I mean it. When you're at Wawa getting your coffee, tap on the shoulder person. Yo, you got to check out this morning show, Trending in the AM, the only show where your opinions actually matter. And I love it because we had a really fun conversation on the Sixers. And that conversation is going to continue all week and all month and all off season. Then you guys helped me get to the Phillies. I'm going to watch Philly. We're going to try to start tomorrow's show off with more Phillies talk. I got to reach out to some of my Phillies people, get a Phillies a guest and reporter on here. It's hard. Some of the Phillies reporters don't respond to me. I will be kissing babies. That's right. Shaking hands, kissing babies at the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar Saturday. Okay, come on out. K1, come on out. I don't know if you're anywhere. I'm not any. It's gonna take me an hour to get to the to this destination, but I want to be part of it. Meet some of the EOP guys. I'd like to meet some of you guys as well. Yeah, I wish. If you can't super chat me anymore, guys. The links to my PayPal and Venmo are in the description down below. Greatly appreciate anything. Anything to pay the bills. I've got a gigantic house to pay for. So, muchas gracias, guys. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap it up. Make sure you stay tuned. Locked into EOP. Jam-packed week. Don't miss it. Don't forget, new show. It was great this past week. Football stories right here from the Football Stories magazine from Brian Baldinger. Again, shout out to all our sponsors. Hey, and I haven't shouted them out because I'm doing the other one right now, but Dolan's Bar as well. Dolan'sBar.com in Ridley Park. Check them all out, guys. That was a lot of talking today, guys. A lot of talking today. No, that's because you guys only gave me 99 comments to get through today. Normally, we're in the 200 comment range, and we're at 99 comments today, guys. Thanks. Thanks for disappointing me, guys. It's okay. It's all right. I won't hold it against you. But we're going to wrap it up. Hold on. We got comment 100 now on the show. You're not a real baby unless you've been blessed by the beard. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I don't know. Long story. Just still trying to figure it out and how to get it back. It'll be back eventually, but it happened. So Venmo, PayPal, right to me. It's all good. Anyway, guys, we got to wrap this up. I got to get to work here for the day. I'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m., talking more Phillies. Look at that. I might even have to do this. We're going to close the show by getting set up for tomorrow, okay, by changing the color. Because it's baseball season now, all right? The screen is now going to be red with my name, okay? We are, look, I got Phillies here, right there. I got Philly stuff there. I got Philly stuff here, Philly stuff here, Philly stuff here. It's Phillies time, guys. It's Phillies. The Fanatic wants us to talk more Phillies on the show, so that's what we're going to do. All right, guys. Be back tomorrow. Yeah, I'll give it. Okay, I got it. Be back tomorrow. And again, guys, you don't want to miss Fairway to Heaven. Wells Fargo Championship discussion with my man Len Hochberg. Guys, locked in. Edge of Philly. Trending in the AM. I'm Phil Stiefel, guys. I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Yo, it's summertime now, basically. It's Philly season. So we're going to start ending the shows with let's ring that damn bell.